So they don't have anything with Russia. There's no collusion. So now they go and morph into, let's inspect every deal he's ever done. We're going to go into his finances. We're going to check his deals. We're going to check. These people are sick. They're sick. I saw a little shifty Schiff yesterday. No, it's the first time. He went into a meeting and he said, we're going to look into his finances. I said, where did that come from? He always talked about Russia.
That was President Trump at CPAC slamming House Democrats. This comes as they ramp up their investigations into the president's finances following Michael Cohen's public testimony this past week on payments made to women before the election. Joining me right now is Democratic Congresswoman from New York, Carolyn Maloney. She sits on the House Oversight Committee, and she's wearing a jacket which was given to her from the Fire Department of New York. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Maria.
Yeah, I want to get to the compensation fund for the 9/11 victims in a second, because I know that's why you were in the jacket, and good for you that you're wearing that jacket. I was there at the New York Stock Exchange, and it's a horrible day, and we'll never forget. We know that. But let me ask you first about Michael Cohen. Congressman, some of those questions last week were so bizarre. Does President Trump have a love child? Does he beat his wife? I mean, all this stuff focusing on everything that the American people really do not want. They would like to see these two sides work together. What's your reaction to Michael Cohen last week, and what are you trying to do?
Well, I thought that his testimony was alarming because it did point to possible crimes and campaign finance violations, ethics violations, and possible tax and insurance crimes. And he gave a list of people that he thought could lead to other possible crimes. And this really was the first hearing, oversight hearing that the Democrats had on the White House and holding them accountable for alleged crimes in trying to influence and disrupt an election and other things.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, look, we know that there was no collusion so far. We have no evidence of that. We're waiting on the Robert Mueller report. But isn't it true that you're supposed to follow and see if there was wrongdoing done and then follow the crime? But here it's like you got your guy and you want to find a crime. You want to look under every rock to try to hope to find a crime. You got your guy, Donald Trump. He's the guy you want to find a crime. I mean, that's the path you and your colleagues are moving toward.
I would say that our whole system of government was founded on checks and balances and holding everyone accountable and holding everyone to the law.
Did Michael Cohen perjure himself again? Because a couple of times he said things that some of your colleagues on the right are saying, look, that's a lie. Like he said he didn't want a job in the White House. He said he's never been to Prague, by the way. That was what the dossier said.
Well, I believe him because he has no reason to lie. Right now, as you know, he's going to jail,
right?
Partially because he lied to Congress, and he would gain nothing by lying to Congress again, except increasing his term in jail.
So how do you justify bringing a guy down who's already lied to Congress once, and that's why he was indicted and he's going to jail, but this is your first witness? I mean, given there's all of this wrongdoing and upset over the FISA abuse and what happened in the 2016 election, is this really the first person you want to bring down to question?
Well, he was one of the closest confidants of the president for 10 years, both while he was president and while he was running for office, and even before that. He gave valuable information about how the president operates. He answered one of my questions about meetings, because the president always says, I knew nothing about this meeting. He said nothing ever happened at Trump Tower or any time that was an important meeting, that the president was briefed before the meeting and the participants went back and told him what happened at the meeting. Right now, we're trying to gather information. He also testified that he was cooperating with prosecutors in several other investigations. Yeah. So there is a lot of investigations, including the important Mueller one, where the facts have to be looked at and studied to see if there was any obstruction of justice, if there was an attempt to influence the outcome of an American election with a foreign power.
Right? I think Michael Cohen also said
he
no.
said.
Yeah.
But there could be other people.
We've heard from the House, the Senate, the DOJ, and the FBI that there's no collusion. I mean, so
well, he gave us a list of names, and I know that the Democrats are sending out questions to roughly 60 other witnesses to gain information. What we need to do, and I think you did hit something, that it should be more bipartisan.
Yeah.
We should start agreeing on a set of facts
exactly.
that both
and
sides
we should
agree on.
Right. We should agree on at least the Constitution.
We do
due process, things like that. But there's a lot of division.
We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to the American people.
You absolutely do.
And on honesty in government, on oversight in government.
What we all want.
And we want our democracy to be just as strong after we leave office as...
Well, I'm with you on that, that's for sure. But there is a lot of division in your party right now. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez basically stopped Amazon from coming to your district, New York. What are you going to do to get Amazon back, and your reaction to all of that?
Well, to me, I find it tragic that they are not coming at this point, and I have joined the governor and the mayor and many, many others, including the leaders of all the public housing projects, the leaders of our community, the people that I represent. They wanted Amazon to come. They wanted the jobs. They wanted the transit improvements.
But AOC didn't want it. Is she the face of your party at this point? I mean, she's talking about this Green Deal that's going to cost $94 trillion. What are you going to do about it if you're a moderate Democrat and you're faced with these radical ideas all the way to the left?
Well, we can always disagree. We don't always agree on everything, so you fight for what you believe in. I believe in a diversified economy, and I believe in more jobs for New York, and I think this statement that we're working to reach out to Amazon is an important statement to other businesses, that we want to welcome jobs, that we want to work with them to help our country and help people.
First, you got to get the tax structure better, and you've got to make sure you're not double taxing, right? And you've got...
Absolutely. That's the biggest...
So have you spoken to Cuomo about that?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone in New York is totally opposed to what we call SALT, removing the deduction of city and state taxes.
Right.
It is an arrow into our heart. We have to change that. I'm working on a report on how it impacts not only New York, but every other state.
We've had a hard break, so we've got to go. But this compensation fund is so important. Thank you so much for pushing for it. The victims need help.
Thank you for supporting the victims and survivors and first responders of 9/11.
Of course.
They were there for us. We need to be there for them.
Congresswoman,
and we need to pass and make permanent the Victims' Compensation Fund.
Congresswoman.
Thank you, Maria.
Carolyn Maloney will be right back.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. Great. Thank you.